morning. Morning. That's better. I know it's very cold. But a warm welcome to you all to the National University of Science and Technology. We are excited to host distinguished guests. I know you have left your very busy offices, but the fact that you chose to be here today and during this very cold weather, it shows that you are our true partners. So thank you very much for choosing to attend this very important event. My brief really is to do introductions. Allow me to introduce our guests in the top tables. Thereafter, I will request all of us to introduce ourselves. As we introduce ourselves, please let us know your name in the organization, where you come from, and also your title or position in that organization. Allow me to introduce, in absentia, our Vice Chancellor, Professor Dodo. And apologies, is not able to be with us. There is another engagement, but is ably represented by the Pro Vice Chancellor for Innovation and Business Development, Dr. Engineer William Goriondo. Doc, if you can lift your hand so that they can all see you. We also have our Pro Vice Chancellor for Research and Academic Affairs, Professor Yogi Naik. Prof. Naik, welcome. We have our registrar, Mr. Piki Ngwenya. Mr. Ngwenya, welcome. I'm not seeing my librarian. Our librarian, Ms. Ethel Kaome, I'm sure is making her way. Our acting person, I'm also not seeing her here, Mrs. Sebata. She should be joining us. These are our principal officers, colleagues that I've just introduced. Allow me to also introduce our guest speaker. We are also going to introduce him in detail formally, but allow me to recognize him. Our guest speaker, the Chief Executive Officer for Dande Mdande, Mr. Ngube. Mr. Ngube, welcome, sir. We have our keynote speakers. If you can allow me to introduce our keynote speakers in no particular order. I will start by introducing the Executive Head, Innovation for ZB Bank Holdings, Mr. P. Masego. Mr. Masego, welcome, sir. The Chief Executive Officer for SIMAS, Mr. Vin Lobo. I think he's still on his way. We'll introduce him when he comes. We also have lecturer from Chinoi University of Technology, Ms. Ara Chinemo. We have amongst ourselves session moderators. Allow me to also introduce our session moderators. The Executive Director for BAD, Satna Markets Investors, Dr. A. Timkulu. Dr. Timkulu, thank you. We have our Manager for Health Risk and Utilization from PISMAS, Mr. W. Zwarebayasha. I hope I pronounce it properly. Thank you. Lecturer from NAST in the Department of Computer Science, Mr. K. Chilumani. Mr. Chilumani. We have our panelists. In no particular order again. The Head Digital Transformation for EcoCash Holdings, Mr. N. Chuma. Mr. Chuma, welcome. Senior Manager for FBC Bank Limited, Bulawayo, Mr. Aras Manda. Sister Smanda, welcome. We have the head of the Department of Medicine at NAST, Dr. Mlilwana. Dr. Mlilwana, welcome. The head Client Services, New Health 263, Mrs. S. Chiweshe. Welcome, ma'am. Lecturer from the Graduate School of Business, Dr. K. Maguraushe. Welcome, sir.
I'm here standing in for our Vice Chancellor, Professor Mlilwana, who could not be with us. He asked me to pass his apologies to you. He would have loved to be here with us. Allow me to recognize our guest speaker, the Chief Executive Officer for Dandemutande, Mr. N. Mube. We appreciate your presence. In the interest of time, I will say all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to you all. I am pleased to welcome you all distinguished leaders in industry, business and members of the academic community to the Emerging Technologies Symposium, which is being convened by the Graduate School of Business. Running under the theme fostering collaborations between academia and industry for national development in the fourth industrial revolution, the symposium plays a key role in national development as it brings together visionary leaders, experts, technologists, and academia from various corporates and institutes to discuss the latest trends in fintech, in medtech, and quantum computing. Ladies and gentlemen, achieving the goals of Zimbabwe's Vision 2030, Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, and Africa Agenda 2063 requires undertaking major steps like this Emerging Technologies Symposium that brings together industry and academia to discourse on technological trends across key sectors of the economy. Technology plays a decisive role to improving food production, better education, housing, healthcare, and industrial output. Technology also enhances the efficiency of resource utilization. The National University of Science and Technology is investing in technology through construction of a state-of-the-art Technovation Center. If you look through the glass doors there behind you, there is the Technology Center which is in the making. And we are also launching new programs in informatics and data analytics. The Technovation Center will empower academics and students working together with industry to develop technology-based innovations as required by the National Development Strategy 1, our NDS-1. We believe access to and use of technology should become pervasive to all facets of life, leading to digitalization of the economy. I therefore take this opportunity to invite industry leaders to take space at the Technovation Center and set up technology laboratories. Resolutions and recommendations from this symposium must be taken into practice. Together, we can set trends in technology and use technological innovations to transform lives. In the quest to deliver on the Vision 2030 and the specific deliverables of NDS-1, the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development had a specific mandate to make education relevant to our communities and to the locality. And it is against this background that Education 5.0 became relevant and hence the construction of innovation hubs at higher education institutions, of which NAST is also a beneficiary. The Innovation Hub and the Technology Center and the Technovation Center are therefore centers of excellence upon which industry and communities are supposed to get solutions for the problems that they face as they aspire for growth. Let us work together to achieve greatness. Well situated at NAST, the Innovation Hub and the Technovation Center are a government initiative that is open to the public to resolve challenges they face through informed research. All of us here are therefore welcome to engage and build a better nation. 4IR is here with us, and as an institution, we are engaging in relevant and appropriate innovative research that may be your products and services for the future. I therefore invite you to visit our institution through the Graduate School of Business and the Innovation and Business Development Unit for further engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the NAST Council, Chairperson Professor Lindwe Majeles Vanda, the Vice Chancellor Professor Mkele Dodo, staff and students, I want to express our appreciation for heeding the call to close the gap between industry and academia. I look forward to more such platforms where we come together to discuss on various national development issues. Let me take this opportunity to applaud the Graduate School of Business for organizing this important symposium. Once again, a warm welcome to NAST on a cold day. I wish you all fruitful deliberations. As our motto goes, this is the time to think in other terms. I thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Dr. Gorwondo. We feel warm already. It's such a pleasure when institutions, academic institutions, and the industry come together. We believe at Symposium the philosophy that work is universal. If someone can deliver in Harare, they should be able to deliver in the next kingdom. If they can work in South Africa, they should be able to work.
Under the theme, bridging the gap between academia and industry through smart partnerships. I'm sure you can see in front of you, those who are near the white cubicles there, we have the NAST logo on the side and then the AAPS logo on the other side to prove that we are indeed a member of this esteemed association. In further pursuance of bridging this gap, the second leg of our journey today hinges on the theme fostering collaborations between academia and industry for national developments in the fourth industrial revolution. We are on a momentous mission to propel our nation's progress by embracing the power of collaboration and unleashing the boundless potential of innovation. Please allow me to draw inspiration from the works of a distinguished scholar and rector, Professor Tsilidzi Marwala, who assessed that while many may have argued that the fourth industrial revolution is an abstract concept, it is becoming more apparent that it is not an era that looms in the future, but it is present through our lives. It is our current reality. The aforesaid underscore the essence of this symposium, where we gather to adapt, collaborate, and innovate in the face of the fourth industrial revolution. This symposium, ladies and gentlemen, serves a number of purposes. I will not have performed my duty well if I don't share this information with you. Together we'll partake in enlightening discussions, exchange innovative ideas, and forge connections that will shape the very fabric of our technological future. Through collaboration and a collective commitment to lifelong learning will enable our nation to rise as a beacon of progress in the digital age. With these remarks, let us embark on this incredible journey together, uniting academia and industry as we propel Zimbabwe towards a prosperous future where innovation thrives and transformative technologies flourish. Let us use this symposium not just to learn about emerging technologies in the 4IR, but to network among ourselves. Once again, I extend my warmest welcome. I thank you.
When I was a student here at NAST, I never used to wear glasses. But I guess with the passage of time, it is almost inevitable that eventually you find your eyesight failing at some stage. Maybe it's because of this so many books that we have read, John, I don't know. Or too much use of the mobile phone. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank the Director of Ceremonies, John Zeriwa. He's a colleague of mine in the advisory board of the GSB. I also wish to recognize our guest speaker from Dandemtande. I say to him, it is your obligation, you have no choice, but to come and support NAST. Just as much as it is each and every one of you's obligation to come to NAST and support it. It is ours. NAST is ours. And I'm a student of NAST. Those were my teachers. Those were my teachers once. Yeah, so the tables, I guess, have changed, but it's okay. It is my singular honor to welcome all of you here present to the inaugural NAST Graduate School of Business Emerging Technologies Symposium. I have been particularly looking forward to today with an almost childlike glee, because this event brings together two things which I'm very passionate about: business and technology, and of course being here at NAST. The only thing missing is a panel discussion about fine whiskey, maybe fast cars. Then this would have indeed be the perfect event. I'm sure many of you are wondering what the NAST Graduate School of Business Advisory Board actually is. In short, our advisory board essentially serves the purpose of its name: to provide an external perspective while offering input on the strategic direction and overall objectives of the NAST GSB, and providing advice on a multitude of issues. Board members have all demonstrated professional achievements in fields of importance to business, graduate education and research, and contribute to the balance of the board's breadth and diversity. Colleagues in the board, we have Mr. Adwoye, please, once more, I invite you to stand. Mr. Zeriwa, I invite you to stand. Unfortunately, other colleagues are committed elsewhere, and it's okay. Thank you very much, colleagues. We are recently constituted, having held our inaugural meeting on 1 March 2023. While we are still in the early stages and have much to learn, I believe it is important to share a brief overview of our mandate and roadmap with you today. This is because one thing which was apparent from day one of being given our marching orders, any and all of our advisory board successes will depend on the cooperation of other stakeholders, many of whom are represented here today. As I said, you're in the right place. We tap into your experience, we tap into your insights to move the GSB forward in the fourth industrial revolution. In its 3-year tenure, the advisory board's mandate is set to
among other things, advise the school of initial professional competencies required for the profession or industry. 2, guide demand-driven degree programs and short courses curriculum development. 3, project the needs of the profession or sector in the appropriate program area. Next, act in general as a liaison between the school or university and the relevant profession industrial sector. Develop links among the GSB, industry and commerce, and where possible, extend this relationship to relevant institutions abroad. Help source funds, teaching equipment, expertise, books and other resources for the school and the university at large where possible. Facilitate the school's research and consultants endeavors, and last but by no means the least, link the GSB to relevant experts in the industry who can conduct guest lectures on topical issues for the school from time to time. We believe this can add value to the theoretical perspectives that our very esteemed lecturers are imparting to their students. It could be very enriching to tap into these our colleagues who have supported us today.
We are in a world that is competing at a global scale. So whatever job you're doing, someone is doing it online and faster. I always wonder where generative AI is taking academia. Generative AI, of course, a lot of people refer to it as ChatGPT. It's one of them. There are lots of them. It has got the ability to generate tons and tons of content in a split second. So your students, Prof. Nan, all they have to do is sit on a computer, and then everything is there. So those are the discussions that I think we should be talking about in the 21st century, and see how we can then collaborate, innovate. If there's regulation, if there's another technology that we need to invent to prevent such things from causing harm to the society. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, at this time to welcome back again Mr. Prof so that he introduces the guest of honor, Mr. Prof.
Thank you, John, for the privilege to introduce our guest speaker, who is our guest of honor today, a decorated businessman. I'm happy that he's my friend. So what I'm going to present as his profile here, I know that he's my friend. I share in that. He has more than 27 years of experience in corporate strategy, corporate governance, secretarial duties, financial accounting and reporting, as well as treasury and internal audit. He has held senior positions at Delta, INSCO, and SPAR Zambia Limited. He holds a Bachelor of Accountants Honours degree from the University of Zimbabwe and a Master of Business Administration from Michigan State University. He is a chartered governance professional and a public accountant registered with the Public Accountants and Auditors Board. He completed a management development program with Delta Mandel Training Center and the executive development program with Cape Town Business School. Allow me to add that he is a potential candidate in Graduate School of Business. So Prof. Nani, there is one of your potential candidates. He has won several awards, including the Chartered Secretary of the Year Award from the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators in Zimbabwe, Strategic Leader of the Year in 2020, Platinum winner in MakerFest National Business Awards, Businessman of the Year Award, ICT and Internet Services in 2020 from Zimbabwe Business Council Awards. Zimbabwe CEO Network, Outstanding CEO of the Year 2021, Zimbabwe CEO from the Zimbabwe CEO Network, Records Breaker Award for contribution in Zimbabwe's business space in 2021, Main CEO with HR orientation, second runner-up at the 2022 IPMZ HR Excellence Awards, Zimbabwe CEO Network. We got a Platinum Award, Top CEO and Business Leaders Awards, several awards that our guest speaker has to his name. He holds various industry positions, including past council member and treasurer of the Institute of Directors of Zimbabwe, the fellow of the Institute of Directors of Zimbabwe, current Contact Center Association of Zimbabwe president, fellow of Corporate Governance and Accountants Institute in Zimbabwe, and the president of Zimbabwe Internet Access Providers Association. Our guest of honor, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than the Chief Executive Officer for Dande Investments, a premier, fast-growing Zimbabwean Internet access provider that matches cutting-edge innovation with the provision of Internet connectivity solutions, data center services, cloud solutions, ICT hardware, ICT software, managed IT services, and unified communications solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly join me in welcoming to the podium our guest speaker, Mr. Neva Tolo.
Please, before I start, if you may allow me to observe protocol, to recognize the Vice Chancellor of the University, Prof. Hlodlo in absentia, to also recognize the Director of the Graduate School of Business, Prof. Nani, recognize also the Advisory Board Chair for the Graduate School, Dr. Nick Ndebele, and also the Pro Vice Chancellor, Innovation and Business Development, Dr. Engineer M.W. Gowondo. And I know there is also the other Pro Vice Chancellor who has also joined us today. Also recognizing the fellow speakers and panelists that are here present, invited guests, partners to NAST and the Business School, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is obviously an honor for me to be part of this conversation on the 4th Industrial Revolution. I feel very much independent in this conversation in that I'm neither part of the academia or a technology specialist. It's a conversation that is delivered to you by a disrupted accountant that has been disrupted by technology. So today we want to speak about how we can collaborate and use technology for the greater good and deliver Vision 2030. There's been in the past a lot of innovations that have already happened. Different waves of innovation from the first to the fourth industrial revolution that we are now in. Obviously, every innovation has delivered enhancements and improvement in human endeavors. But we are all excited about the fourth industrial revolution, which is now the sixth wave if you were to look at the innovation cycles there. And one thing that is very key if you look at that is the cycles are becoming shorter. From the first one, in terms of the time that it took, to the sixth one, which is now the fourth industrial revolution, or what is popularly known as Industry 4.0. And for me, for this presentation, I'm not really going to be very technical. I'll really try as much as possible to use the layman's way of understanding the fourth industrial revolution. Because it really does capture the idea of the confluence between new technology and its cumulative impact to the world. And in Africa, we'll know that COVID-19 was indeed one of the accelerators for the adoption of the fourth industrial revolution. We know what happened during COVID-19 when we couldn't go to our offices, when we couldn't hold our meetings. We had to have alternatives. And these are some of the technologies that are now being employed to make sure that we drive our education, we drive our economies, and we drive the interactions in between. So what are we talking about? We're talking about artificial intelligence and machine learning. We're talking about IoTs, cloud computing, blockchain technologies, 3D, and biotechnology. So we are really being forced to go into a contactless economy, for lack of a better word. And it is for the good reasons that we have to, as both the academia and industry, embrace those technologies. Because they are here to stay, and there are a lot of benefits that we are going to derive out of us using and embracing the technologies. Among those benefits, it includes enhanced supply chain visibility and traceability. It includes personalized and adaptive learning, increased production. I think the engineer spoke about production and efficiency. For those that are in the financial services sector, these technologies are going to enhance risk assessment and how we do our credit scoring for our new customers. And then in the medicine space, obviously they will enhance the diagnostic and early disease detection. But apart from these benefits that we have, there are also a lot of other benefits that we are beginning to see. One as Africans, but also particularly as Zimbabweans, as we race towards Vision 2030. And one of them is increased financial services and investment. I think the technologies are driving financial inclusion, and we are beginning to see a lot of investments around that. Modernizing agriculture and agro-industries. At the core of our economy, we are agro-based. So it's important that with these technologies, we use them for the benefit of modernizing our agriculture and agro-industries. I'm very much aware that we've moved from being a basket case to full self-sufficiency as a country. We are not yet the breadbasket of Africa, but we can get there. Because the method that we used to move out of being a basket case to food self-sufficiency is because we increased our acreage. But we can be smart about it and regain our position as the breadbasket of Africa. Improve the healthcare and human capital. I was things that I noticed at the airport is that they are using robots to clean the airport. We can't do that. I'm sure we're all aware that today we are commissioning the new Arajimgavi airport. I'm really looking forward to going back to Harare. Probably I might be lucky to see a robot there cleaning that airport. But also imagine a robot capable of treating Ebola patients or cleaning up nuclear waste. Those are the possibilities that are available for us. But what is also happening in the global space, I think my assistant is really racing forward for me in terms of slides. So if you look at the global space, there's a lot of things that are happening in the areas of automation, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and cloud computing. And there are companies like Tesla that are really leading the way in driving autonomous vehicles. But also we're now beginning to see issues around the ethical use of technology as well. So far as privacy, surveillance, bias and discrimination is concerned. On the area of Internet of Things, I think we are becoming more connected than ever before. And this will obviously enhance the way that we engage, the way that we do commerce, and the way that we produce things. I'll give you an example. In Israel, more than 70 companies, they make tools for measuring, analyzing, monitoring, and automating processes in precision farming. I've already alluded to the fact that at the core of our economy, we are agro-based. So we are seeing all these technologies that are happening in other places that are going to be relevant for our growth as well. If I turn my eye on Africa, what is really happening in Africa? I know one of the biggest challenges that we still have is on connectivity. But I'm happy to say that there is a lot of investment that is being put into place to make sure that connectivity is available to us in Africa at reasonable prices. I hear and sympathize with the big chorus that data must fall. It's not falling as fast as we would want it to be, but there's a lot of investment that is happening. I've just mentioned there on the screen two of the large investments that have actually happened. There's a one cable system that is called To Africa, 45,000 kilometers that is going to be available towards the end of this year, going into early next year. And then there's another one that has already been commissioned in Namibia and is about to be commissioned in South Africa called the Equiana Cable, which is a partnership which includes people like Google as well. So the world is not sitting idle and saying Africa must be left behind. We are investing and increasing investments in providing connectivity. We all also know about Starlink and OneWeb as well. They are a buzzword. Under e-commerce, we see what companies like DHL Africa are doing. They are obviously leading on that space. Financial inclusion, my colleagues are going to speak a lot more about what is happening in the space of financial inclusion. But Kenya, outside of Zimbabwe, has also been leading the way with their M-Pesa platform. Again, on the space of Internet of Things, I had the pleasure of traveling to Israel a couple of weeks ago, and I had a meeting with Siemens, and they easily demonstrated how technology is now driving mining, where you can see these dump trucks moving around with no one controlling them, and also actually doing the mining in terms of the drills and all that. So it is possible, it's happening. We saw the use cases in South America, and it's going to come here as well. So for Africa, the fourth industrial revolution and digitization will transform Africa into a global powerhouse. We're going to use this technology to fight poverty and inequality, but more importantly, the technologies are saying to us, we need to reinvent labor skills and production. We need to be using technology to detect illegal mining, deforestation, and border controls, and we are beginning to see the use of drones in those endeavors. And as we extend connectivity, we increase the voice of the voiceless, we increase economic opportunities and equality. Coming home to Zimbabwe, what is happening insofar as technology is concerned? We're seeing more of value-based service delivery and decision-making based on big data, increased production. The reduction of costs for us is an imperative as we go into the space of the Africa Free Trade Area. Because if we are not competitive in our production processes, we are not going to play and be competitive. So the adoption of 5G technology is going to enhance that. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a lot of investment in 5G technology as yet. As we speak today, we only have 22 5G-enabled base stations in Zimbabwe, and they all belong to Econet, compared to 1,673 LTE base stations. But it is a start, because we know that 5G is not yet mature technology, but it will eventually be mature, and we will need it to drive our industries. And in terms of internet penetration, you will be pleasantly surprised that our internet penetration in Zimbabwe is now at 65%. So we are one of those countries that has really grown in terms of internet penetration. On the cloud, because without this infrastructure, we're not going to be successful. And I just really want to mention that there are efforts in the space of cloud computing. You might be aware that the National Data Center was commissioned a couple of years ago. But outside of that, there's also been a lot of private and quasi-government investments in the area of cloud.
Microprocessors. Now, as we go smaller and smaller, it becomes a little bit difficult to deal with these bits where you can transfer electricity, which is 1, or off, which is 0. So now we'll need to use a different approach, especially in terms of the physics of how things work. When you go smaller and smaller, the laws of physics cease to work in the classical physics, and they go into quantum physics, where now if you try to pass electricity in a circuit which is very tiny, what happens is that your current will just flow through. So you now need to change the system of counting from bits, which is what brings this new technology. So like our presenter, Google has a new computer which uses qubits. Are different from the bits in the sense that a bit is a 1 and a 0. In the time until you do the measurement, then it can be 1 or 0. So it has 50%. That's what we mean by quantum computers. So we are thankful that we have with us here Ms. Lorraine Tize. She's Majiri. She's going to give us more into the benefits of quantum computing. She's the president of Quantum Africa and also a board member of Q-Word Board. And she's also written a book, contributed to a book titled On the Shoulders of Giants. And we also have Dr. Makuraushe here, who is a postdoctoral research fellow at UJ and also a lecturer in the GSP department. And he's into research on patient-centered healthcare systems and health system modeling and also quantum computing. So they will give us more and shed more light on quantum computing. Then we'll open the floor to you so that you can ask and interrogate and get a more clearer understanding. So we'll give you Ms. Lorraine Majiri the time to speak to the audience.
Hello. All right. Start by maybe mentioning that I'm a product of Rebecca here, so I'm very honored to be here with that transition maybe from any industry into the quantum industry, and also have schools where we try to have projects that are particular to certain areas. For example, one Quantum Nepal had a project that was working on human trafficking because it was something that's a problem in their country, so they used quantum computing to try and optimize and help resolve that problem. I'm also a board member at QWorld, so at QWorld we have what we call Q Cousins, which are more like localized chapters. So we already have a chapter in Zimbabwe, we have Q Zimbabwe. So with Q Zimbabwe, and what QWorld is made about is we focus on preparing people for the second quantum revolution, focusing mainly on the education side of things. So that means we could be educating students or educating people in industry. So we have modules that are maybe specific to high school students, because we people who are from the notion, catch them young, watch them. Also we have high school students, we also have college students, and we also have people in industry that would want to transition or merge, from finance and merge with quantum computing and work on that. So with Q Zimbabwe, we already have our banks. Most of our clients are banks. In Europe, as an American company, most of our banks are in Europe, and so those are the companies that we work with. So there's already been a lot of improvement and work that has been done in Zimbabwe. So we are now looking at a space whereby we get more Zimbabweans educated in the space, such that the solutions we have, like there's already alluded by the medical team, that at times things have to be tailor-made and specific, that maybe for black people. So our solutions should also be specific, that if we are going to use a quantum computer, it should be specific to the problems that will be used, specific to the problems in Zimbabwe. I've been to the UAE for quantum hackathon, and the problems we're solving were specific to the Arabic world. So we should also have situations whereby we have problems specific to Zimbabwe being solved. We could use it, as already mentioned, things like agriculture, and it could be used maybe in optimizing other chemicals. And to end my brief introduction, I quote someone who we refer to as the father of quantum computing, Richard Feynman, who said, I think I can safely say that nobody really understands quantum mechanics, so not even I do. So, when you're asking me a question, leave room for that nobody really understands. So I understand to a certain extent.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chilmani. I'm also going to say I'm a lucky guy. Number one, why least my colleague is seated to her mentor. Chilumani happens to be my mentor here because I did computer science undergrad and master's here at the National University of Science and Technology. And number two, I'm sandwiched by two visionary ladies within the quantum computing domain. I think you heard their profiles. And more so, I think our group is the unique one, just trying to balance the gender-related issues. I totally agree with what has been said by my colleagues, because yes, the issue of quantum computing is slightly tricky, even to the researchers themselves. They are still trying to find ways of raising awareness about this particular technology. And I am an advocate, possibly, of what I would term the quantum computing, whereby possibly the fourth industrial revolution reaches a find that all these other technologies that have been explained by other presenters before me are now in place, because you realize one thing, amongst most of the applications that have been alluded to by Madam Rebecca, I think fintech has been touched in one way or the other, because there are scenarios whereby we want to find ways of detecting fraud, maybe within the banking sector, maybe optimizing how we can get higher returns, at the same time reducing the risk factors that are associated within the financial sector. Then in the medical domain, you also discover that we might have fraud happening within that domain, or one would say, if we are to simulate a molecule, we want to find the solutions. Remember, one enabler of this technology, the need to solve complex problems. Let's agree on that. Of this particular technology. Answers to various problems. For instance, the recent COVID-19 pandemic, I'm sure we are still trying to recover from that. You discover that as people were trying to find solutions to that, quantum computing is one of the technologies which has been handy in trying to say solutions that would get possibly after many years, we managed to get them and people managed to get some treatment. So that culture whereby people are now able to view quantum computing as a solution to most of our problems that we experience within our daily lives, I think that will be a very, very important step. And let me also put a disclaimer. It's not like we are discarding our classical computers, these computers that we are using, but we also need to be aware that there are certain scenarios whereby we need solutions as fast as we can, right? I remember our main presenter said they can give us solutions as fast. I think she ended up giving around 4, repetitive fast things there. So this was just a way of highlighting how fast the technology can be. All those other areas like the production of fertilizer, creation of the green environment, which is in tandem with the Millennium Development Goals, I think it's one way under which we can achieve this quantum computing culture that I alluded to.
And now we'll open to the questions. Thank you.
Thank you.